So now we need to figure out how to get the number out of them. And there's a couple methods you could use. So I guess go ahead and click on that and it'll bring you into the tree, into the location of it. So, and if you click over here on the Document Object Model tab, or the DOM tab, and then we're gonna scroll through some of these attributes of it. So attributes and first child and all that stuff. This is stuff that you can, functions or whatnot, you can use to access the other elements or pieces inside of the element. So the one I'm interested in is this style. If you look here, you'll see it has a style, and then the 51% is inside of the style. So we're going to see if we can get that out of there. So it has width and a lot of other extra stuff. So we're just going to kind of ignore that. Alright. But anyway, so when you see this, what we can do is we can call style, and we'll go ahead and do that, and you'll see that if I call the style portion of it, it'll return just the style of this bar. So I just typed .style after our bar location 0. You can save it, refresh it, make sure you bring your console up, and you see it brings up the CSS stuff. And then we can access the CSS, or the cascading style sheet. And the one we're interested in, if you remember, was width. So if we find width, if it's here, there's a lot of stuff here. It has 51% width, if you remember. So let's go back in here, and we'll just do a dot width, save it, okay, and then refresh the page, and this time what you're going to see is 51%. So that is how we're going to access our number. So now all we have to do is just trim off that percent symbol. We're going to do that. I'm going to use the split function. You can use a regex or something like that if you want to. I just like the split because it's just, I guess it's more intuitive to me. So how this works is you call the split function, and inside of it you're going to tell it what to look for. So I'm going to tell it to look for a percent symbol, and then anywhere in the string that it sees a percent symbol, it's going to remove that percent symbol and then stick the pieces in front and behind that percent symbol into pieces of an array. So yeah, let's see. So when I split this at the percent symbol, what it's going to do is it's going to stick this 51 into a bin in the front, and then there's like an empty space or something in the back. It's going to stick that into another bin. So we're going to have a 2-element array when it splits on this percentage symbol. So if we refresh it, and so our first one's 51, and our second one is just an empty cell. Alright. So now we just need to figure out how to write this. Well, I guess let's go ahead and write us a quick loop to grab all 3 of them. So we're going to use a for loop, and you can use while loops and stuff, but I'm just using a for loop. And I'm going to use a variable, and I'm just going to call it I just because it's a counter, and I less than, and then I'm going to use a function called length. So I'm going to tell it to look at bar location and length. And so what this will do is it'll tell it that for all of I, go through, and then I'm going to iterate it by 1 each time, so I plus plus. And I guess I should zoom in a little bit for you guys. and then, so yeah, it's just going to do this once for each I, and the I is going to grow until it gets to the fifth one, and then it'll exit. And if you remember, they start at 0, so that fifth one will actually be the fourth one will actually be the last one. And then we need to initialize our I to 0. So, and actually, if you've already seen the mistake that is going to happen from this, good job. But we'll go ahead and run with it, and we'll fix it in a second. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to log it for now, and we'll deal with it later. So we're just going to say console log, and you can just move your console log inside of it with proper indentation, and change your 0 to I, and then come back out, go down, and close your for loop. We'll save that, and we'll just let it run, and you'll get to see what it does. So, and there's the error. It's going to grab the last two, and we don't want it to. So we just need to make it stop before it gets there. So how we can do that is we can just, since we know there's 2 of them, we can just subtract 2 from this condition here, and there it'll not go down there anymore. So if we refresh this again, it stops at the last element just like we wanted it to. Alright. So, let's go ahead and fix this array thing, because we don't want to have both of them, we just want to get the first one. So, all we have to do that is we just say, we only want to keep the first one, so just say 0, and put it in square brackets. And that's just accessing the 0th element, which is the first one, for this. And if you save it, run it real quick, and you'll see your numbers right there. So awesome. And so now, let's go ahead and save these to a variable, just real quick. Var, and we'll just say number, equals, and then make sure you get rid of that. And now all we gotta do is just set that number to be wherever we need it to be. So, where we're going to put that number is in the bar. So go ahead and go back and inspect element. So that's, again, right click, go down, inspect element, and it'll take you automatically into the bar here. So if you see this symbol here, it's a space symbol, and it's the inside of this div, and we want to replace it, and it's noted over here in the DOM, the inner HTML. So we want to replace the inner HTML with our number. So we just need to make sure we grab the right one. Alright, so what we did, this first piece here, constant bar location, it's defining 5 elements. Then we're going to go through our for loop. We're going to start at the first one, we're going to iterate through, and then we're saying our number is equal to our first element, its style, the style, and I guess the first element style, and the width inside that style, and then we're just doing a little bit of text formatting to clean off that percentage symbol there. So in the same kind of a spirit, we want to access this bar location again, the element, so bar location, and then I, and then we want to set its inner HTML, just like that, capital HTML at the end, and then you want to set that equal to the number. And what that'll do is that'll overwrite anything inside the inner HTML with whatever's in this variable. And you can do stuff with this variable, like you could do a number, and you could do like an operator or a function 2 fixed and 2, which would make it 2 decimal places. So if you ever get some things that are kind of long, you can fix it to be shorter. And so, alright, if we save that, you should be just about done. Alright. And voila! Your script now puts numbers in scouting bars. Alright. So that will conclude this second script. Again, I hope this was informative. If you have ideas for future scripts, please let me know. I kind of have an idea for the third one. I think I'm going to work with grabbing pages and working with data on different pages. I think is what we're going to do for our third one. But if you have a better idea, just send me a PM in the game, and I guess